Alright, I'm going to start this story, a true story, with a flashback from present time question from Sunfire. You know how in movies, there's a guy that asks a question, and to a guy's face, and about the past, and he's like, yep, we did that back in the day. That's how I'm going to start this video. When Sunfire asks, you traveled Fury Road across the country before? I'm like, yep, I've traveled that road before. Almost died on that road, Fury Road across the country. Literally. Almost got hit by a semi-truck on the black ice. But anyway. So here's the flashback. Flashback music. Alright, now. This is a story of an atheist and an agnostic who were best friends. Yep, indeed. We didn't even believe in God back then. That's how the story begins. Seen as the bad guys, both of us. Both seen as evil. Yeah, I'm still seen as evil. But I think one person doesn't see me as evil. It might be Jesus, I don't know. Jesus and JR don't see me as evil, I think. That's about it. But anyways, not much has changed. I'm still seen as son of perdition. At this time, I'm seen as son of perdition, the ultimate rebel of the Mormon Church at this point in time. The year is 2009. My friends, let's go back in time. The year is 2009. I'm seen as an ultimate Jack Mormon rebel, son of perdition in everyone's eyes. Not much has changed in their eyes. Yeah. A pastor last night was like, does anybody criticize you still? Like to the group, does anybody criticize you? I'm like, yeah, Mormons. Mormons still criticize me. Bless their heart. So, everyone laughed, and I thought it was funny. So, anyway, yeah, that's where we're at. We were seen as the rebels of the Mormon Church. Him and I, the atheist and the agnostic. He was the atheist. Yeah, he was He just believed in crystals and stuff, and the New Age thing. You don't actually believe in the real God of the Bible if you're in the New Age world with crystals and stuff. That's not the real God. No. So he was atheist. In my opinion, he's atheist at that time. So I don't care if he believed in energy or a source. That isn't the real God. So he was atheist. That's what I call it. So. But as for me, I was a true agnostic at that time, a true one. Not sure if God's out there, but maybe. Maybe there's a God out there. I left that possibility open. Throughout my 20s, I was agnostic. Yeah. So that was my agnostic period. You know what I'm saying? When I was pretty much Jack Mormon and just agnostic. If there's a God out there, great. I'll beat him up when I see him. I'll beat up God when I see him. If he exists. As always, But yeah. Here's a story of a lovely lady. No, it's not that story. It's not the Brady Bunch. It's not that kind of story. But anyways. So I decided to go to the East Coast. For a little dinero. The motivation of all on this earth. The big dollar motivates us all, chasing the dollar. Capitalism, we're all chasing the dollar. That's what I was doing too. I was chasing the dollar to the East Coast. Yes, indeed. That's how the story begins. And plus, my family of origin were driving me crazy. I got to remember that part of the story. They were driving me nuts. They saw me as crazy, I'm like, I got to get away. I got to get out of this state entirely. I was in Arizona at that time. I'm like, I got to get out. I got to get completely out of this state. So that's what I did. I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm out of this state. Get out. I'm out. So I traveled north to where my best friend lived at the time. He lived in Utah. Ooh, Utah. Salt Lake. Oh, man. Salt Lake. Oh, man. You want to talk about Mormondom? Oh, man. He was in the middle of Mormondom. He was in Salt Lake City next to that corrupt building with satanic symbols that, the temple they have. That one. He lived there. I'm like, oh, he's a brave soul. But I went there anyways, you know what I'm saying? So, what could have been called the hot gates of that time. Mormondom capital, the hot gates, wickedness central, of the West, of the Rocky Mountain Territory, the hot gates, Salt Lake City. That's what I'll call it. Evil all around us, evil all around. Just like in Star Wars. Episode 3, evil is everywhere. That's how it was. So, anyway, so I met up with him. He's having a good time, living the peaceful life, I guess, just like being a homebody. Big time. He didn't want to travel anywhere. He was just comfortable, just playing the first Halo. I remember he had the first Halo. He's playing the first Halo, with his roommate. They had the first Halo. This is way back. Obviously, the first Halo, the very first Halo of Xbox was out. And he was playing that, Actually, no. Halo 3 was out at that time, I think. But he still had the first Halo. Yeah, that's it. Halo 3, because when we were at the Hot Gates area, when we were over there in Maryland, we were playing Halo 3. I remember that. We were playing Halo 3 at that time, which is fun. Which is really fun to play Halo 3 online. If you were alive during that time playing Halo 3 online, oh, that was awesome. That was awesome. Anyways, not about that. Those were the good old days. Playing as far as online play, playing Halo 3 online with everybody in the country. That was a blast, But anyways, those days are long gone, you know what I'm saying? But that's not what this story's about. As you can tell, a lot of memories, I've lived a long time. So him and his roommate, they're playing the first Halo, I don't know if it was his roommate's game, Halo, or what, but I'm like, man, you live kind of a boring life, my friend. It's kind of boring here. Not much going on. I'm like, you want to go across the country with me and work on the East Coast, you know what I'm saying? Have a little adventure. He's like, I don't know, maybe. That simple. And I'm like, the headquarters is close by where you live. Like, who I was working for, who was sending me to the East Coast, their headquarters was by Salt Lake City. So I took my best friend there to meet the boss. I'm like, he may want to come with us. Can you teach him how to install security systems and stuff? Can you teach him and all that? So they taught him. They taught him for a couple weeks before he went out there. You know what I'm saying? My best friend was pretty smart. He figured it out. You know what I'm saying? He self-taught himself how to play the guitar. He's smart. You know what I'm saying? Just like the Battle Axe is a little smart, maybe. I pretend to be stupid. I play the drunk boxer routine, kind of like right now. Oh yeah. I'm so stupid. I don't know anything. Oh, woe is me. The drunk boxer routine, you know what I'm saying? I do that a lot, like leaving blood in the water for the sharks, basically. So, some have figured out that's what I'm doing, but a lot of people haven't figured that out. So, the X-Men know what I'm doing, with the public. But, the public hasn't figured out what I'm doing, like the drunk boxer routine. Oh yeah, look how messed up I am. Leaving blood in the water. Look how wounded I am. Leave blood in the water. Yeah. So anyways, enough about that. But so we go across the country. He follows me 2 weeks after, or you know what I'm saying, after he trained for a little bit. We go across Fury Road. We go across Fury Road. I was in a Chevy S10, you know, going through black ice on a Chevy S10 without snow tires. That's why I call it Fury Road. That's why I almost wrecked because of black ice on Fury Road through Wyoming. I almost wrecked. You know, a semi-truck almost hit me. It could have been Exodus. Could have been Exodus driving back then. He was a truck driver at that time. And he's driven Fury Road. I've asked him like 50 times. Across the country 50 times. So it could have been Earl that almost hit me. I'm like, do you remember almost hitting a white truck back in the day? I don't know. I may ask him or something today. But yeah. So I'm going through. It's a long story, of course. It's across the whole country. It's a long story. But I'll try to summarize it. You know what I mean? So I'm going through Wyoming and through the ice and the snow. And I think this was in April. Yeah, in April. There was still black ice and snow in April in Wyoming. Yep. That's why I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm going Fury Road at the end of June. Hopefully, by the end of June, all the snow is gone, all the ice is gone, all the black ice is gone. By that time, by the end of June, it's all gone. You know what I'm saying? No slippery sliding, you know what I'm saying? By that time, that's my hope. You know, so I don't wreck. You know, so. But yeah, so I go through Wyoming. I remember it like yesterday. You know, like yesterday. If yesterday was today, I remember it like yesterday. So, and then I remember going through Nebraska. Oh man, I remember going through Nebraska with all the corn stalks in Nebraska. All the corn stalks, you know, it was raining. I remember it raining in Nebraska, you know, at that time. And I got a motel in Nebraska, I did. For one night, I got a cheap motel in Nebraska. See, I've done this before. I've traveled across country before. I have. That's why I'm like, I'll do it myself, God. I don't need a team. Just give me the money to do it. I'll do it myself. God's seen me travel Fury Road by myself. I have. You know, I traveled Fury Road across the whole country by myself, stayed in motels the whole way. And on the way back, stayed in motels on the way back from Fury Road. Same thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I've done it before. God wants me to do it again. But not for money this time. Just His will, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can't say to God, I've never done that before. I've never driven across the whole country before. When He knows different. I have. I've driven across the whole country. More than once, but this was on the I-80. This time was on the I-80, but I've driven across the country different times, on different freeways, for different reasons. So, but that's not what this video is about. It's about this specific time. So in 2009. So anyways, I'm going through Nebraska, you know, the corn stalks. If you've ever driven through Nebraska, that's what there is, just a bunch of corn stalks, non-stop corn stalks. At least it's not Kansas. Kansas is even worse, you know, driving through Kansas on the way back, you know. I remember, I think I drove through Kansas on the way back. Nothing is in Kansas. Nothing. It's just a bunch of nothingness. Nothingness. That tornado in Wizard of Oz took that place out. You know, there's nothing in Kansas, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is the most boring. It's the most boring, longest state I've ever driven through is Kansas. Nebraska is second. That's the most boring, longest state. Nebraska is second. The Cornhuskers. Oh, man. But yeah. But anyways, I thought about, and this time I might maybe, I don't know. I was thinking about stopping in Chicago for a second this go, as I did last time. There was a moment when I was going across the country. There was a moment that I thought about going to Chicago, just to visit for a second, because I was born in Chicago. But I don't remember it because we moved away when I was like 1 year old. I don't remember Chicago. I don't remember the suburb I was born in. I don't remember any of that. But it's correct. I was born in Chicago, next to Chicago, which I hear is a very dangerous place these days. It's a very dangerous place in Chicago these days. No Michael Jordan anymore. No more good times. Good times are long gone. So yeah, I thought about it for a second, but I may take a brief detour to Chicago for a second, maybe, if that's if the other members of the team are okay with like a side visiting Chicago for a second. It's up to them, it's up to Rogue if they're okay with that. I don't know. If not, we'll just go to the gates. No detours, no seeing Chicago for a second. But anyways, so I didn't go to Chicago. I just went straight through the toll states. The toll states. We know the toll states. They're not called the freeways there. They're not the freeways there. You gotta pay to drive those roads. They're not freeways. You gotta pay in the toll. They're tollways. To drive through Illinois or Indiana. Indiana for sure. Ohio. Iowa maybe. Indiana and Ohio, you have to pay a toll to drive through it. I'm not kidding. You have to keep paying a toll to just drive on their road. To drive on their highway, you have to pay a toll throughout the states. I call them the toll states. Through the toll states. through on Fury Road, we go through the toll states. We pay toll. We're slaves. Here you go. So, we know you didn't build this road, but here you go. Here you go, machine. You didn't build this road, but here you go. So I thought that was weird too, because on the West there's no tolls or anything. There's none of that. It's a free country out here. It's a free country out here on the West side. Not on the East side. It's not free at all. You have to pay to be alive. Hey, pay to drive. Hey, pay to use the roads. So anyways, then I got past the toll states. Oh, Iowa. Iowa is a really, going through Iowa, big hills, up a hill, down a hill, up a hill, down a hill, up a hill, down a hill. That's what I remember about Iowa, driving through Iowa, just up a hill, down a hill, up a hill, down a hill. That's what I remember about Iowa for sure. That stuck out for sure. What else? Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania was kind of creepy. Pennsylvania was kind of creepy to drive through. I'm like driving through Pennsylvania at night. Most of Pennsylvania I was going through at night, what I'm saying? I was. It was like all the trees were like dead. I'm just like, man, this is a pretty dead state. It's still pretty cold in April in Pennsylvania. Transylvania, I'll call it. That's how creepy it was. It was Transylvania. I may have visited where my grandma lived on the way there. I may have checked out she's passed away, but my grandma, I used to visit my grandma there in Cherry Tree, Pennsylvania. I used to visit my grandma there by Indiana, Pennsylvania. Punxsutawney. She used to live out there. Great territory, has the Amish and stuff, The Amish and if you've never seen the Amish, it's an experience. The Memorites or the Amorites, they're kind of Amish, but they're kind of hip. They're kind of hip. They're not quite Amish. They They do more, they're more hip, They're not quite the movie The Village, By M. Night Shyamalan. They're not that closed off. So, and that's what I kind of thought going into the Baptist church, because they're so strict. They're so separate from the world they are. These Baptists are. I thought I went into an Amish community. That's how separate they are from the world. They're not messing around. That's how strict they are with living the Bible. Super strict. I'm like, man, did I come into the Amish community in Noah's Ark? That's how separate they were. So, speaking of that, it does seem like that's what God's doing. He's like a Noah's Ark thing before God burns everybody. Not previews. Not like Hollywood. That's just previews. Not like that. Like bigger scale burn everybody. So before that, God's like gathering still, before he does the big burning. You know what I'm saying? So what else? Oh yeah, driven through Pennsylvania. I visited my grandma's place for a bit, I still remember seeing a snapping turtle there. There was a huge snapping turtle in her yard. Huge snapping turtle. I'm like, it almost looked as big as one of those sea turtles. It was so big, I went up to it. I'm like, man, that thing could bite my hand off. It was so big. You know what I'm saying? It was so big. Anyways, that wasn't on that trip. That was a different time. You know what I'm saying? As you guys know, time is weird to the battle axe. You know what I'm saying? All my memories, all at once. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I remember that time. Oh, I remember that time. But we're focusing on 2009. So we're almost there to the hot gate where Gambit lives. Maryland, we're almost there. Pennsylvania, we're getting very close. Oh, but I didn't go straight there. At first. I did not go straight there. I forgot about that. They sent me to Long Island first to help him at Long Island. Yep, New York. Oh boy, this is another crazy part of the story in itself. Has anybody driven through New York City? Yeah, you know how crazy this is, okay? You know how crazy this is gonna get. Oh man, if you've ever lived in New York City or driven through it, oh boy, we're getting to this. So I'm going through New Jersey now. I'm like, I talked to a guy from New Jersey. I'm like, this place is a wreck. This place is not. He's like, don't let that fool you. He's like, all the crap areas is off the main freeway in New Jersey. So everyone that drives through New Jersey, like just driving through New Jersey, is like, this place is crap. This place is crap. Anybody that drives through it. But it's like, that deceives everybody. New Jersey is a beautiful place off the main freeways. It's a beautiful place, he says. And I go, oh, okay. So it's better than I thought. Okay, New Jersey might be okay. But at that time, driving through New Jersey, Newark, I'm like, this place is a wreck. This place has already seen its day. It's already done. But then, after that, oh boy, I crossed the bridge. You cross a bridge to get to New York, or yeah, there's a bridge going into New York from underneath, going into New York City from New Jersey. There's like a bridge of some kind. Yeah, going into New York City. There's a bridge that I crossed it. Not the Golden Gate Bridge, not that bridge, but a different bridge. So we drove through that. I drove through that, and then it got really nuts. Once I hit New York City, it got really crazy. I'm from Arizona. Someone from Arizona insane territory where people drive are more sane driving wise, less aggressive. We're more sane in Arizona. No offense, New York, way more sane. Once you get into New York, it's like a rush, super rush. Oh man, like the band Rush doesn't hold a candle to New York City's rush. Oh man, it's legit. The rush. If you've never been in New York City, the rush, the constant rush, the city that never sleeps is a true title. The city that never sleeps, not the city of lies like Los Angeles that got turned down, but the city that never sleeps is the title of New York City for a reason. It never sleeps. It's a constant, day and night, constant. People cross it, people jaywalking constantly. Tons of people jaywalk. Not just a few people jaywalk, like in the country on the West Coast, on the west side of the U.S. Not like that. Like a person here jaywalks, a person there jaywalks every now and then. No, like in New York City, a big groups jaywalk. Big groups jaywalk. No crossing walk. Just jaywalk across the street. Big groups just jaywalk. I've never seen anything like it. It's like the jaywalk capital of the world. Jaywalking, 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 jaywalking. They don't care about any laws. They don't care about any laws in New York. Not one law do they obey. And that goes for the taxi drivers. Whoo, man. Yep, I brought up the taxi drivers. I had an interaction with the taxi driver. Oh, man. I had an interaction with the taxi driver that didn't speak English. He didn't speak English at all. I was trying to get over, but I didn't get over fast enough. And it made him so mad that I didn't get over fast enough, like super fast. Like everybody else does. I'm not used to that. Cut in front of people very fast. If you don't cut in front of people very fast, they get mad at you. They get mad at you. If you're not aggressive, they get mad at you. If you're not aggressive in New York City, they're like, you're not being aggressive. Get out of here. It's legit, And so I pissed this taxi driver off because I didn't get over fast enough. I pissed him off. And he followed me. He followed me as I'm trying to get through New York City to Long Island. He followed me. And he's like yelling at me through his window. He rolled down his window. He's like yelling at me in like German or something. Like a German language or something. Like totally different language. He's cussing me out in a different language. Yeah. That was pretty nuts. Like, that was so crazy. Have you ever been cussed out by someone from Germany or somewhere else? It's an experience. He's like, yeah. It seemed like he was from Europe, It did. So it wasn't a Middle Eastern guy. No, it was. I don't know. But that was pretty crazy. Yeah, the Battle Axe have seen some stuff, you guys. That's just like a brief part of my life. The Battle Axe have seen some stuff, you know what I'm saying? I've seen the ugliness of this world, like you would not believe. So anyways, I finally get past New York City, thank the Lord. Thank the Lord, I got past New York City. Whoo, free sailing. Free sailing past New York City. We're free. We cross to Long Island. I crossed the Long Island. I finally get to Long Island. Long Island, not New York City. Long Island is not too shabby. It's not too shabby in Long Island. Yep. It's pretty nice in Long Island. Pretty nice. I liked it there. The people tip very well there. Everyone tips. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever heard, I was installing security systems for a while before this. I've never been tipped after putting in a security system. Never. Until Long Island. They tip me every time. They're awesome with tipping everybody. They tip. It's like a rule. It's like a rule in Long Island to tip. You have to tip no matter what the person does, no matter what service the person does. You got to tip them, no matter what it is. Installing a security system, like no one tips for this. They're tipping me for like $20 for installing a security system. $20 tip, $20 tip for installing a security system. Here you go. I'm like, thank you, thank you, kind sir, thank you. You know. So, and I'll leave the story at this point. You know. So, I didn't quite get to the Hot Gates part, the Hot Gates area where Gambit is. I go down after Long Island for a couple weeks. I go down to the Hot Gates area, you know, where Gambit is. I go there and meet up with my friend that made it there as well. And that's where the atheist and the agnostic met on the East Coast. You know, after I don't know what experiences he had across Fury Road, but those are mine. You know, and then we met up there. You know, and then got settled in and worked for a few months. You know, for about 4 or 5 months in the Hot Gates area. I may have walked JR's street. I may have walked his street. I may have installed a security system in JR's house. I may have. You know, don't mess with the bad legs. I may have installed your security system. You know what I'm saying? But anyways. But yeah. So, yeah, all in the story there. We both got to the Hot Gates at that time after I came down from Long Island. Working in Long Island for a while. Having a good time with the boss and other workers there, and you know, installing security systems in Long Island for a bit, doing stuff that made them laugh. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere I go, I do something that makes somebody laugh. They think I'm stupid or retarded, but like I said, it's the drunk boxer routine. It is. It's the drunk boxer routine that everyone falls for it. They think I'm an idiot. You know what I'm saying? The drunk boxer routine. You know. I don't know. It still works, you know. It still works to this day. Everyone thinks I'm crazy or incompetent or stupid to this day. But it's an advantage, you know what I mean? Like, I've gotten way ahead in life doing the drunk boxer routine. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyways, I'll leave the story at that point, and I'll talk to you later. That's just part one. That's just part one. We finally made it to the Hot Gates, my best friend Chad and I. The atheist Chad, the agnostic, the New Age atheist, it's my best friend Chad, the New Age. He didn't believe in the crucifixion or anything. No, you know, he was a New Age atheist. So, and then they just believe in energy. That's not God. So, and then the agnostic, yours truly, hoping that there's a real God out there, a real one, hoping, a legit God out there. It seems like there is.